Okay, folks, starting out in child's pose will help us release the low back in particular. A lot of hip too, some good shoulder and chest tension we can get rid of here. So come on down. And give yourself some time. I like to fidget a little bit, just beginning to settle in, noticing little bits of information, like which side is maybe tighter than the other. And remember to modify this child's pose in any way that you need to. If you feel like this is too much compression in your knees, you can take your knees wider or put something underneath your hips. You can kind of sit on maybe a block or a blanket. Allow yourself to settle into stillness. And begin to build that really big breath. So finding your huge, expansive inhale. And a big, compressive exhale, moving inward with the breath. Allow all the tissues of your torso to move and try to create as much breath movement as you can through the movements of the torso. Really maximize it. As much as you can, you try to breathe through your nose, releasing any tension in your jaw, your tongue, your eyebrows. Hopefully you're beginning to notice your body softening a good bit, gravity kind of pulling on you. Feel space opening up between your shoulder blades, maybe even moving the shoulder blades further away from each other. You feel broader in your whole shoulder girdle around your neck. And take this time just to notice everything about how you feel and what's going on right now. Whether it seems like something you want to change or not, whether you want to label your condition or all the things and sounds and sensations, just experience for a moment. The experience of being here. Maybe at this point you can walk your hands out a little further and get them a little away from your hips. Remember to keep your neck long. Start to grip the mat with your hands, pressing down in the fingertips, making a bit of a tiger claw shape, okay, lifting your palms, maybe making a little tent feeling, okay, in the center of your palm. And then keeping your long neck, pull your heart forward as you inhale. So think of coming up to hands and knees to a cow posture. So coming up to that cow posture, you're arching your back, pulling your heart up and forward. Okay, at the very tip top of your inhale, pause. And as you exhale, press it back to where you were before, child's pose. Let's do that several more times. Beginning to flow and move a little bit. Inhale, rolling that heart up and forward. Think of putting your shoulder blades behind your heart. And exhale, roll it back to child's. Keep it going. Maybe just close your eyes and just tune in. Feel yourself moving. See if you could open up a little extra space in the front of your heart each time you come up. And open up extra space in the back of your heart each time you come down. Notice that rolling movement that goes up and down your spine, okay? Your tailbone points up. That allows your spine to extend. Your tailbone points down and your spine rounds and flexes. Next time you come up into this cow posture, let's just hold here, okay? So you can always exert more or less strength to suit the vibe of what you want your practice to be today. But with your hands pretty strong, think of pulling back on the mat rather than pushing to send that heart up and forward. Could you pull the elbows in slightly, really drop the shoulder blades down the back. Keep breathing. So I want to lift the belly button into the spine here to keep the back safe, right? Maybe one more big breath in to your big chest. And exhale. Push the floor away. Round your spine in the opposite direction. And let's hold here. Open up the back of your heart. Cat pose. Okay, let the head hang. Could you point your tailbone even more down? One more big breath here. And then release that effort. Bring it back to a neutral spine, okay? And let's take a few side to sides here. Think of bringing your right hip towards your right shoulder, and then other side. Left hip to left shoulder. Side to side. Side to side. So working the side body. Notice when you move one side to be a little more effort, you get more opening in the other side. Okay, bringing it back to a flat back here. Let's get the right knee up. Okay, keeping your hips level for now. Start to circle out that right hip. Okay, think of stirring the femur around, kind of warming and massaging all the tissue all around there. Let's rewind it. So still keeping that hip kind of level for now. And then let's pick it up. Let's open up the hips. Stack it on top of the bottom hip. Make a huge, ridiculous circle. And rewind it. All right, then next time you swing the right knee forward, pause there and drop that right foot by your hands, okay? We'll maybe scoot the left knee back a little bit so that your hips can sink more readily downward if you like. However, if the hips dropping is too much, you can scooch the left knee forward and keep your hips a little higher. So you kind of decide where you'd like to be with that. Okay, and we'll rock a little bit. We'll take the hips forward and back. But then let's also play around with swaying side to side as well. So I like to do these weird little circling movements. Okay, feel free to start flexing that right foot and opening up the back of the right leg, the calf, any little place that might be feeling sticky. And then go ahead and drop that right foot down in front. Okay, we'll settle back into lunge. So from here, I just want to activate the legs just enough and press this right knee with your right hand. Come on up. We're going to reach the hands nice and high and find a little low lunge here, a little Anjaneyasana. So we'll start to just flow a little bit here, but first I want to take a little time to get strong in the legs. So you're actively pressing down into the earth, okay? And actively pulling the legs up and in, like you're trying to snap your legs together and stand up straight, okay, from here. So you'll feel the back of the right leg activate and the front of the left leg. So we don't have to be super strong with it. It just takes just enough strength. So let's start to move a little bit. Inhaling here, keep those legs nice and strong. Maybe lift your heart if that's feeling nice, just to kind of open up that chest. As you exhale, drop your hands down in front. Then you can think of pulling your hips back. Point those right toes at your nose. Okay, and let's do that a few more times. Just kind of moving and flowing. Inhale, low lunge, big heart. Then exhale, fingers down, pull the hips back. Nice and easy. Take a few more rounds just like this. Just follow the pace of your breath. You can make this movement really small and subtle and gentle, or you can make it more warming and more opening. Maybe 3 more rounds just like this, just finding some good movement, getting your joints to let go. 2 more. Okay, last one. Big breath in, coming up to that low lunge. Big exhale, coming down to that half split. Okay, Ardha Hanumanasana. And let's pause right here in this half split. So hang out here with me. You can do your fingertips under your shoulders if you like. And I like that because it gives you more space to make your spine long. Okay, it's tempting to kind of round your spine here. But if you feel your camel back happening, okay, make a long snake back. Okay, we're pressing down into that right foot. And we're thinking of pulling back on the right hip. So find how much you need to press down and how much you need to pull back and really fine tune it for your needs. What you're looking for is for the back of the right leg to be spreading open. So activate the front of the right leg, your quadriceps in particular. So if you think of pulling your kneecap up towards your hip, right on the right side, you'll get that quadriceps activation, and that's going to help to release your hamstrings, okay, on the back. So we call that reciprocal inhibition. When one muscle is working, its antagonist has to release. So we can use that to our advantage. So you can stay right here, you can take a break, or you can roll onto the outer edge of that right foot, pointing the toes to the right, and walk your hands to the right. And this will just get more into your IT band and your glute and your outer hip. Keep a long spine, please. Remember to breathe. Remember to have a good time. Maybe one more good breath here in Ardha Hanumanasana, or a variation of it. And let's walk it on back to center. Come on back with your hands down in front. Settle back into that low lunge we just left. And we'll send this back to hands and knees. Okay, tuck your toes here. Lift your knees, lift your hips, and walk your hands back to your feet. We'll find a little forward fold. Take a moment just to hang here. Really bend your knees generously if you need to, and maybe sway a little bit side to side. And then try this. So you're swaying side to side perhaps. Try rocking your weight forward and back, forward into your toes and back into your heels. Try it a few times, forward and back. Notice how it feels to redistribute the weight, okay? Feel free to really bend the knees or extend them. And then find that you can balance the weight in the perfect center of each foot, slightly pulling up in the arch, as if you could suction the arch up a little bit. And one more big breath here. Maybe grab your elbows and hang. From here, my friends, we're coming back down. So hands back to the floor, walk it back forward, and find yourself back on hands and knees. And so now we'll do the other side. So let's get the left knee up. Keep your hips level, please. So put that imaginary dinner plate on your low back, okay, or a glass of water, something you don't want to spill. Okay, keep the hips level as you circle it out. And go ahead and rewind it. Okay, now drop your dinner plate, pick up the left hip, stack it over the right, make big silly circles. And rewind it. Okay, send the left knee forward here and drop the left foot next to your hands, okay? You think of lining your foot up with your hands so they're all in the same little line, and then move the right knee back or forward, wherever you need it, and then start to make some little front to back, side to side, kind of wiggling out, loosening up movements. So we hold a lot of tension in our hips, it turns out. Just about all of us do. And when we start to moving them around, we might feel some resistance. And that's okay, okay? But we don't ever want to feel pain. But we're bringing fresh circulation, fresh blood, okay, to these tissues that might have been contracted for so long that they've actually been losing blood flow. And so we're bringing back a lot of flow to these places, and it's going to help us stay healthier in the hips and the low back. Okay, rock forward into your lunge. Let's hang out here. Okay, use your left leg to come up. Okay, and we're just going to activate just enough. Think of the minimum amount of effort, just the threshold of effort that it takes to really enliven this posture and let it do the work for you. So maybe 5 to 10% effort pressing down into the legs, and you'll notice that gives you a bit more release if you need it. Okay, 5 to 10% effort pressing down, and we're trying to pull the legs toward each other, maybe with also 5 to 10%. So arms up here, you can think of a really big open heart here. Just spreading open your chest and pulling that belly button into your spine. So you're keeping your low back safe. Maybe one more big breath in here in your Anjaneyasana. And we'll start to flow just like we did on the other side. So exhale here. Drop your fingers under your shoulders. Pull back on your hips. Okay, find that half split. Fingers point at your nose. Long spine. Sorry, toes point at your nose, not your fingers. Inhale back to the Anjane. Okay, low lunge. Exhale down to the Ardha. So maybe you close your eyes while you do a few more like this. And just kind of find a rhythm. Find a little zone you can get into. Notice what's happening in the back of your left leg, the front of your right. Notice what's happening in your front and your back body, your chest, your shoulders. Maybe 3 more like this. Two more. Building warmth, making space. One more. Big breath in. And exhale, fingertips down. Pull it back to that half Hanumanasana, and let's hold it right here. So make your spine nice and long, okay? Kick down through that left heel and then pull back on the left hip. So you want to imagine that your 2 hips are always level with each other. The right hip is moving forward and the left hip is pulling back. So hang in here. Just breathe. You're opening up in the back of that left leg just enough. It doesn't have to be too much. So continue to keep your legs active here. They're not asleep. They're still here. Okay, so you can stay just like this. Okay, or you can get more into your outer IT band here on the left side. So outer hip, glute, you can just point the toes to the left. Keep a flex though, and walk the fingers to the left. Nice breath. Do your best to keep your spine long. Okay. We'll start to bring the hands back in. You find yourself back in a low lunge where we started. And then we'll bring it back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, up and back. Find another forward fold. So meet you back up here. Hanging your head. Let your knees be bent or extended, but if you can extend your knees, still cultivate a little micro bend. Okay, a little softness in the knees. Nice breath here. Let the head really hang. Okay, and then take your feet pretty close together here so that you can very easily step your right foot in front of your left. So right foot steps in front of the left like you're on a balance beam. And then just pivot on your right heel to turn your right toes to the right. So when you look at your legs now, they make a right angle or an L shape. And then you can walk your hands out to the right as well in the direction that your right toes are pointing. So let's pause here. If you need to bend your knees here, go ahead and bend your knees, especially if you feel not at ease. And feel free to just listen to my words, because I know you're upside down. Don't feel like you have to look at what I'm doing. Just listen to my words. Let your head hang. Maybe bend your knees. If you're feeling pretty good here and you can maybe extend your knees without a problem, or maybe you just want to move a little more deeply, you can just continue the journey of your hands so that your fingers point at the back of the mat, okay, in the opposite direction of your left toes. Continue to let your head hang. Notice where you feel this: low back, legs, hips, spine. Okay, and then we'll start to slowly back ourselves out of this. Hands back in front. And then we'll switch sides. So the right foot comes back underneath your right hip. We'll step the left foot in front of the right. Balance beam. Feel free to bend those knees at any time. And then we'll just pivot on that left heel. Left toes point to the left. Okay? You can just walk your hands over to the left. Point them out there. Or you can point them all the way at the back of the mat. It's really up to you. But keep breathing. Push into your heels, even if you're bending your knees. Don't be passive in your legs quite yet. Just push down into your heels. Maybe one more big breath in right here. And then bring it back in. Okay, feet back to normal. See if you could just bend your knees and have a seat from here. Shake your legs out. Okay, give the legs a nice little shake. Should have some nice feeling of spaciousness across your glutes and hips, especially the backs of your legs and your low back now. Not to mention your spine and your upper back. So tuck your hands behind your knees and let's roll it all the way down. Take a moment here. Maybe make some cactus arms and kind of roll your low back side to side with your knees. Maybe rolling more of a circling movement on your low back around your sacrum, your glutes. I'm kind of using the floor to give you a nice massage. The floor is always there when you want a massage. Okay, and then let's pause the knees back at center. Go ahead and send your arms between your knees, and you can start by just grabbing your shins. Okay, and then from here, if that feels okay, grabbing your shins is pretty good. Just start to drop your knees downward toward the mat, like you're trying to smoosh the back of your body into the floor. From your shoulder blades down to your hips, press into the floor. Notice how this feels in your hips, your inner thigh. Okay, there's some nice peeling open where there might be some tension. If this is feeling pretty good, you can reach up for the edges of your feet, the outer edge, okay? Some people prefer that. Some people prefer bunny fingers and thumbs around each big toe. That's my favorite way. But kind of go ahead and find your way. And then you can continue that same idea of pressing the shoulder blades down, but maybe thinking of extending your knees into right angles and lifting your feet up. Keep breathing. Okay, if you want to experiment further, you can try bending one knee more, allowing you to extend in the other. You can go side to side like that. Bend and extend and switch. Okay, opening up any little tension in the hips and adding spaciousness there instead. Maybe you try extending both knees at the same time. Notice how that feels. Keep the back of the body pressing into the mat. And just one more big breath in here. And then let go of your feet. You can bring them back together. Okay? And then interlace your fingers around both feet at the same time. Like you're wanting to pull them into your heart. Spread your knees wide. Again, really ground your back body and pull those feet in. As you are ready, release your feet and just put them on the floor by your hips, okay? And we'll get the right leg crossing over the left, okay? Just like you just sat down, you're just crossing your legs. And you can single cross at the knee, or you can double cross at the ankle. Make some cactus arms and drop your knees to the left. Look to the right. Breathe here. Big inhales into your chest. Big exhales in your belly. Lift your heart with each inhale. Think of grounding your shoulder blades and lifting your rib cage. Strengthen those belly muscles inward on the exhale. Maybe one more breath here. And roll it back into center. Uncross your legs, untangle, and we'll switch sides. So now the left leg crosses over the right, single cross or double cross. Drop the knees to the right and look to the left. Find your long, slow breath here. Hopefully you feel your body cooling down. You feel that great massage running up and down your spinal column. Your organs getting massaged and detoxified. Lift that chest on your inhale. Strong belly on the exhale. Maybe one more really long, luxurious breath here. And let's roll it back into center. Okay, untangle your legs again. Extend your knees and bring your hands to rest down by your hips. Okay. Begin to check in to your resting posture. Fidget it into perfection. Okay, it feels just right. I like a really nice tuck of the shoulder blades under the rib cage. A little slight tuck of the chin inward toward the neck. And a smile always helps. And let go completely here. All effort drains away. No more resistance, no more activity, no more doing, no more producing, just being right now. Allow the breath to be effortless and wild. Almost as if you're just breathing just the same way the waves move on the beach. Just a force of nature. Feel all tension draining out of your body. Your mind able to focus on this moment. Maybe your mind wanders. It will. Just bring it back again and again. That's the act of meditation. It's just taking that mind, bringing it back in every time. And this is where I'll leave you for our practice today. So please keep resting just like this for as long as you can. Thanks so much for joining.